This tutorial will give you an introduction to the Spring Tool Suite. STS is the shortcut you probably see on your desktop. Go ahead and double click on that. And it takes a while to open up, because this is a major league program. And when it pops up, it's going to look something like this. And this is based on Eclipse, which is a professional grade IDE. First thing we're going to do is make it look a little bit more like Dr. Java. So go ahead and close out. Well, we can close out some of these things in a second, but we'll end up making it look like Dr. Java so it's a little easier to use. Start by going to File and New Java Project. There's an additional step in creating a Java program here, and that we have to put it in a project. So I'm going to call this one Class Stuff. You can call yours whatever you want, and then hit Finish. Over here on the right side, you'll see our new package. And it's going to ask us if we want to open the Java perspective. I'm going to click Yes. And then when this opens up, we'll make it look more like Dr. Java. So I'm going to close out Tasks, Outline, Explorer. I have Package Stuff. I'm going to get rid of the dashboard. So this will be where we code. We'll have our documents on the left and our console and output down here. So in the meantime, let's go to Window, Show View, and Console. Now we have Console down here. Now should this ever resize or move, everything in here is movable, or should you close it by accident, you can always go to Window, and once again Show View, and bring everything up. And I'm going to drag this down here once again so it looks more like what we've seen in Dr. Java. Now every time we create a Java program, we're going to put it in our class stuff, or whatever you've named your folder. And when it first popped up, there was probably a workspace. So you had to set up a folder in which you're going to save all your items. But to create a new file, right-click on here, go to New, and Class. Give your program a name. Remember, no spaces. And then click Main Method. And I'm going to call this If Statement Preview. And then I'm going to hit Finish, and it's going to create our program. Now one thing we're missing are line numbers, and if you want to change font, you can go to Window, Preferences, and I'm just going to type in line numbers. And it looks like it's going to default to that. And I'll click right here, Apply, and Close. Okay, so I'm going to do an if statement preview based on the city-state program. So I'm going to start out with string input, and notice it's already giving us an error message. That's even though we haven't started typing, so it nags you a little bit, but it's very good with fixing errors. All right. Now it does real-time error checking. So if I forgot to put a semicolon there, I can mouse over, and it's telling us insert semicolon to complete that statement. I can double-click on this X. Oops, let me single-click. When we get to more sophisticated errors, it can often fix it for us. So let me show you an example since that didn't work. I'm going to do input equals JOption pane dot, and later on when you hit dot, go ahead and wait, and notice all sorts of code completion options are here. So all the various methods are already pre-populated for us. So for instance, input dialog is there. I double clicked on it. It's got a little more than we need, but I'm going to go in and delete those and enter your city. And semicolon. And notice it may have already automatically populated our JOption pane for us. If it didn't have this import statement in here, we'd get an error message that a JOption pane is not, can't be resolved. But some quick fixes are here, and notice a lot of these are way above our level, so don't click something if you're unsure, but that should look familiar from one of our import statements. So I'm going to click on that. Problem solved. Similarly, if you start to add a lot of code and your formatting is messed up, you can hit Control plus Shift plus F, and it'll format your code for you. So I just hit that, and notice it indented things. So that makes your code really nice and readable. All right, and then to run a program, you would just hit the play button here. Automatically saves. If you click that button, then you won't see that dialog again, and we've got some info. That's all our program does for now. So I'm going to copy this line, make this input 2. And then I concatenate the output. To say you live in input. I can put a comma in a blank space and plus input 2. Now that's the Hello World program, or excuse me, the city state program, but I'm going to add an if statement so that if the user enters CO, we're going to ask them to re-enter and spell out Colorado. So an if statement looks something like this. If, and then we have our condition, input 2 dot equals, and since we're comparing words here, we're spelling out the word equals. Later on we use numbers, we'll use equal signs. And here's a little shortcut, ignore case. And this is going to help you later on if the user enters capitals or not. Now it won't matter. So I'm going to put this in quotes. If the user enters CO, and what's nice to notice is Spring puts in automatic closing curly braces, parentheses, and quotes. So if the user enters CO, then the code in this block, in this if statement, will execute. If this is not true, then it completely skips it. So what I'm going to do is then put a message in here that says, please spell Colorado. So what will happen? Only if this is true in line 14 will line 15 execute. So I'm going to test this because there's two options that can happen. I can type in Denver, and I can type in Colorado, and if I get it correct, it worked. I'm going to rerun it. Denver. If I type in CO, then it tells me to spell it out. Now we don't have anything that'll prevent me from just hitting OK and nothing happening, but it does give us a warning. So it doesn't check a second time, but it does check once. So once again, an if statement only executes if what we see right here is true.